Oh my God, it's Monday. Does that rock hard enough? Oh my God, push the button, weirdo. Oh, quickly, push the button. Oh, thank God. I pushed the button. I pushed the button just quick enough. If I could push a button, you guys could push a button. Push the like button. Do that thing. Do that like button thing. Do that thing on the like button. Whatever that weird thing is you like to do with your like button. You weirdos. Yeah, do that. Because it's Monday. For the sake of Monday. I'm going to move the chat all around. There we go. We'll move the chat over there. Move this doodad over there. We'll come over to this. The doodads are all in the wrong spot. I'm going to move these doodads around. The doodaddery. Move it. Oh, I've been tagged in some interactions. Oh, yeah. Boop. Oh, we're currently talking about drip water change system versus the dump method off of a automated sprinkler setup. We're talking about that right now on the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, I shall open the green room in case anybody wants to call in today. If you are somehow associated with our Discord, you can call in. That's the requirement. If you're somehow associated with our Discord, you can call in. I should probably change my profile picture, right? While we're live. Huh. Says I'm streaming. Well, yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know. We're legit. We're streaming. Oh my God, we got to share the stream on Discord. We forgot to do that. Well, we better do that real quick while we're live. Now's the best time. There's no time like right now. If you were going to do a thing, there'd be no time. Like right meow. What is going on over here with my mouse? Get out of here. There. I had my mouse plugged in, and every time I moved it over that way, the wire was like touching my finger, and I don't know about you guys. I don't like it when things touch my finger. It makes me feel awkward. Oh. I hear sounds. Is somebody else here? Hold on.
Hello, friends.
Oh, hey. Wait, who is that?
It's Derek.
Oh, Derek, what's up? Your name doesn't show up. It just shows up as an H.
The drip emitter conversation. God.
Oh, there we go. Now your name shows up. I don't know. I don't know why your name wasn't showing up but it is now. Well, I forgot. Hey, man, I forgot to share the. I forgot to share the link in the Discord. I got to do that real quick. So what's going on with water change system or whatever else you want to talk about? We can talk about whatever, man. I don't mind.
I've got the manifold mostly set up. Running text now to the actual manifold. So progress is being made, but I had to deal with a water intrusion system or water intrusion issue onto the foundation of my house before I did any more fish room stuff. So
yeah, that whole situation that whole situation's got me a little intrigued as to almost like, man, you I mean, because you posted some pretty good pictures, but it's also really hard to tell like what the hell's going on.
Right.
And then what? Don't tell us what town you're in, but like what area of the world are you in?
Northeast.
North.
So New York area.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you're in like New York State or something.
Yeah. So, long story short, previous homeowners decided to build over a concrete slab porch, but didn't seal or do any sort of, water mitigation preparedness around water sitting on asphalt and then bleaching into the foundation. So, mortar fell out because it was constantly wet after 50 something, which you couldn't see. And then I started getting pooling and puddling and like really bad rainstorms on the side of my house where the foundation meets the asphalt driveway. So did a bunch of fun stuff with that. Pretty much regraded the driveway with cold patch up against the side of the house, so there's a nice grade sweeping away from the actual foundation of the house, and then sealed that up on top and bottom so the cold patch can still cure. But for the first time in like a week and a half to 2 weeks, we've got a really heavy downpour rain for pretty much the whole day, and I have yet to have any water in my so.
Oh, that's good. That's good news. Well, it has to survive the winter. It has to survive the winter. Yeah. That's the hard part.
Yeah. But it's been a whole project because I keep pulling back like the whole, you open up the onion and there's 12 layers of things that you're finding that are wrong with, the house. So it was prompted by a washing machine dying, which put water all over my floor. And then I realized that there's like more water issues and things like that. So
yeah, there's like other water. It's like, hey, here's the washing machine water. What's this other water? What's going on with this other water over here? Yeah.
Which they put carpet, like really thin carpet glued to the cement block, any sort of subfloor. So that has its own issues and fun stuff. So dealt with that too. So we should be good. Knock on wood, hopefully.
That's the hilarious homeowner special.
Yep. It's the whole, like, most basements are not meant to be finished situation.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
external waterproofing is not a thing in a house that was built in 52. So
yeah, I mean, you could do it. It gets done. It is. It's not a. Actually, believe it or not, there is a house. I'm gonna say down the street, but it's probably like 3 miles away. That literally, clearly, whatever foundation was poured for it was just so inappropriately bad that they're like, yeah, we like the house, but we don't like the foundation situation. So they literally have the house like jacked up. It's like 16 feet off the ground or something with all these blocks under it. They're redoing the foundation under there. Like, man, seems cheaper just to build a new house, but I'm sure somebody crunched the numbers, right?
I got nervous because the whole, like, with the moisture and that sort of thing around, like, rim joists and sill plates, all that sort of fun stuff. That also led me to tear out the door threshold that is on the side porch next to that. There was water running back underneath that, which made me realize that part of the joist that I thought was structural was rotten, but it's actually not structural. It's more of like a thin piece where they like double stacked them or already kind of sistered them together. So it it's more of fixing the issue of water and rot not getting into those other treated boards farther
Right.
back. But yeah, it's fixing other people's shortcuts is a lot of fun.
It's the most fun.
Yeah, it's
It's the
expensive
most
too.
fun. Hey, the zombie drummer's in chat. Shout out to the zombie drummer. I got to meet him on Friday in person. We had a visitor. We had a special visitor, the zombie drummer. Him and his spouse, and they were super cool. Much cooler than, I guess, much cooler fans. I guess, Are they fans? Are they Oceaneers? What are they? Much cooler fans than I deserve. So I'll put it that way. But Derek, I'm glad to hear that you're at least getting it like sorted out. It's super funny to realize like how much extra work we put into our house just so that we could have fish tanks. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of a wild thing that like the average person cannot comprehend whatsoever. Average person's like, you want to do what? You're like, well, I want to put like 12 fish tanks in here. That's what I want. I need like a workspace for my fish tanks, and they're like, their eyes start spinning around like pinwheels. They don't know what they don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you literally could just be like, hey, have you ever met space aliens? I've met them before. They're pretty awesome. And they're like, what? What are you doing? You know, I guess
that was my wife.
I guess fish. I guess fish aficionados. Are we just aficionados, right? I think aficionados, like, we're probably the flat earthers of normal people, right? Sort of like how people look at flat earthers, right? And it's like how people look at flat earthers, like, but we're normal. We're not, there's nothing abnormal about what we're doing or our thought process. It's like, but they probably look at us the same way, I think. It's probably something like that. Like you're spending
like in any hobby.
What's that?
You know, those people that are like farther on the, like, you know, going all the spectrum.
Well, admittedly, I've been to some people's houses where you're like, this is too much. This is too much fish tankery. Like you know what I mean? And like the standard for me is like, can you maintain this? Right.
Yep.
And if it's obviously not maintainable for that person, it's like, this is too much, you know?
Yeah.
I went to somebody's house
where
they were boasting that they had like 300 fish tanks. And I'm like, I'm sitting there kind of doing the math in my head of like, let's say you spend 15 minutes on each tank, right? Hold on, let's get the calc. Let's get the calc, buddy. Let's get the calc out. 15 times 300 is 4,500. Let's divide that by 60 because I believe that's how many minutes are still in an hour. That's 75 hours a week if you spend 15 minutes on a tank. That doesn't seem reasonable. That's like 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah. I went from 4 tanks, I think, which were not like the largest tank that I had was a 60-gallon, which is still on. It's still up and running at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And even with like doing a Python water change where I have pretty much a pump on the end of the Python and I'm doing that, it still would take me a decent amount of time for those 4 tanks. So that's why with the whole kind of fish lab fish I'm doing, it's more of automation around the thing that takes the most time, which is water changes. So I lucked out really, really well with it. There was a local fish store that ended up going out of business. So like I get on the manifold for super cheap, didn't have to build much off of it. And then they already had drilled tanks. So it's more of like just setting up racking and that sort of thing, which I'm working on hopefully this weekend, but got to get the water running first to the actual manifold before I do anything more. That'll kind of give me a general idea of where I want to set things up. So,
yeah. Hey, quick thing. Disconnect and reconnect. Your connection's weird. There we go. I don't know what's going on. There's something funky was going on with this connection. You're starting to sound like a robot. Uh-oh, there you go. Now you sound too clear.
Probably my AirPods are dying. That's probably why.
Oh. I'm like, dude, you got the robot. You've got the robot virus.
Does it sound better?
Yeah, actually. Now it's too
Yeah.
clear. We don't deserve that clarity. We'll have to go back. We have to go back. We don't deserve this kind of clear communication sounds. Okay. All right, we're good. Well, okay. Hold on. From my standpoint, I'm always excited because other people are like doing the damn thing. I always love it when other people are doing projects. So it's great to see like progress on yours. Didn't you bust down a pergola too?
Oh yeah.
Didn't I think we had like a week there where everybody was like F this pergola or like F this shed. You know, it's like
Yep.
it's like
It's been I've tried to erase that from my memory, and that was like 3 weeks ago at this point. But pretty much we had the previous homeowners, they built a pergola that was not at all up to standard of like carrying any sort of, overhead weight, which they put trumpet vines on each end, which after 30 years grows quite large. Trumpet vines are very aggressive and very fast growing. So long story short, they built the top of the pergola with like decking boards instead of actual like 4x4s or any sort of like actual proper structural framing, which started to bow the pergola. And my whole idea around it was like, I'm just going to trim the trumpet vine back really, really far and then take the top of the pergola out and then put a proper structure back up and redeck the deck because it needed some help. Well, I did that the first top of the pergola and then started to like see kind of hints of like this is not at all properly built. And then I took off a couple deck boards and I easily put a crowbar through a piece of 2x6 and said, okay,
nice.
it's going. So
okay, are you going to build a new one? That's the bigger question.
I don't know.
Oh man, we can't act like that.
I'm not sure.
Just
what
lie
I
to
want
me.
Do yet.
Just lie to me. Tell me it's going to be an awesome pergola.
I really want to do another pergola. But even if I did a prefabbed one, I'd have to go through the whole process of like what our local building code is really, really strict on stuff.
No, it's not. It's outdoor and it's under 120 square feet. It doesn't matter.
It's 90 square feet where I'm at.
Ah, damn it.
It's
really?
Silly.
I think my local code is actually under 180 is technically they just get out of here.
And I was trying to find ways of like, how do I get around? Technically, I needed a demo permit to even take the pergola down. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of silly. But like with any sort of code stuff, nothing is 100% concrete. And like, do you need a building permit and a demo permit? And when I asked them, they didn't really give me a clear answer either way. So
nice.
I just took it.
Well, I think because it's like a non-permanent structure, I don't think you would need it because it's not a dwelling or anything like that. It's like if you put up a shed. You're like, dude, I don't need a permit to put up a shed to put my freaking lawnmower in it. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, and that was the other thing is I was like, well, I can't even put there's some like I can't remember what I was thinking about doing, but it was like even if I put a post in the ground, I have to have a permit come out. Like even if I wanted to do like string lights on and put a 4x4 in the ground, I still have to have them come out and actually look at it. Which is
that's
silly,
possible.
But
I mean, you never know. I mean, it could fall on somebody and scare their dog. You know. I don't know. It's true.
I'm probably gonna do like a fire pit with some sort of because now.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm getting. Oh, you're getting me excited again. If you're gonna do a fire pit, are you doing a big concrete one? We can make forms and pour concrete. It'd be great.
I was thinking about that, and I do pizza too. So I was like, I could do a pizza oven.
Oh, you got to do a pizza oven.
So
I'm considering doing a pizza oven here. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do what I would use more often because I have like a smoker right now that's like a mobile smoker guy, and I use that like I don't know, twice a year. I mean, come on, you know. So I was thinking I was either going to build a smoker or a pizza oven on this off the side of the fire pit.
Why
But-
not both?
You know, why not both, right? Well, the sky's the limit. So let's go crazy. Rosie's late. Uh-oh. Well, hello, Rosie. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, hit the like button because we're on YouTube. Oh, God. We need like buttons or something. Or share this with your grandma. Wasn't that what I normally say? Hit the share button and send it over to your grandma. She's probably bored, and I could be her new grandson. She could adopt me and listen to me for a couple hours every week and be like, oh, my God, look at my grandson. He's so handsome. Yeah. Okay, so you're doing a fire pit. You don't even know if you want to do the pergola, which I say 2 thumbs up to pergola, by the way. There's nothing like chilling. There's nothing like chilling when it's like 88 degrees out and you got some chairs set up under a bunch of vines, under a pergola, a nice iced tea, or maybe a Arnold Palmer, you know? Or maybe you'd be one of those weirdos that just puts tons of sugar in your tea and then calls it sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
as if the radioactive sugar coming off of it didn't, already say that, I don't know. I realized one time when I realized like how much sugar they put in sweet tea to make it sweet tea, I'm like, that's hummingbird. It's like there's more sugar in it than hummingbird fluid.
It's like Mountain Dew tea.
Yeah.
Sugar, the amount of grams. Yeah.
Well, it was like it's almost like 1-to-1 with the sugar. That's what I'm saying. It was like, okay, you got a gallon of tea. How much sugar are you putting in there? A gallon. Oh. Well, then you'll have 2 gallons, won't you? Won't you? Look at that. You're going to be having some sweet tea. Yeah. And everyone has diabetes, and Wolford Brimley is brought up out of the grave warning people about diabetes. Wilford Brimley. Did he die? I know we've looked this up a million times.
I feel like that, yeah.
Okay, he just died in 2020. He probably got the Rona in 2020. Let's see, how old was he? God, I can't do that math. What kind of intense math is this?
Kidney condition.
Kidney condition? Really?
Yep. That's what the Wikipedia says.
Oh, he was in the Marine Corps, but he was in the Marine Corps in the 50s. I mean, come on. Get out of here. In the 50s. I mean, if you weren't in WW2, what were you doing? Now, he might be telling people like, oh, I was 8. I couldn't be in World War II. But I would argue that the Germans figured out how to do that, so I think the Americans probably could have too. How interesting would that be if there was like crazy World War II stories of like 8-year-olds driving tanks around and stuff?
I mean, I feel like that's something that I would not be surprised at all to hear.
Actually, yeah, come to think of it, you probably wouldn't be shocked at all. It'd be like, ah, god damn it. They did that too.
I feel like I remember, I'm going to look it up because I don't want to say something that's incorrect about that.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you don't want to be wrong on the internet. When you're wrong on the internet, it's forever.
I don't ever want to be wrong on the internet.
It's when you're wrong on the internet, it's wrong forever. It's timeless. Because the AI is going to pick it up, The algorithmic robot machines that influence every decision we make now will pick it up and they'll run with it. And then they'll put it in somebody's book report,
Interesting. So I was trying to type in like World War II youngest people that had served, and there was actually the U.S. had the youngest U.S. serviceman to serve and fight in World War II following the attack on Pearl Harbor. He enlisted on August 15th, 1942 at the age of 12.
Oh, Calvin Leon Graham.
Yep.
Oh, of course it was the Navy. You creeps. You Navy creeps. Oh, man. And then he just died in 1992.
92.
What a boner. Don't die in 92. What is that? That's just, don't do that. You missed out on all the good stuff. What were the
I just
big
feel
hits?
like I remember hearing about like Russian kids fighting.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but that's not tracked. They couldn't even figure out how many Russians died.
Yeah.
They don't even know. It's a guesstimate. They're literally like, oh, it could have been 50 million. Maybe. I don't know. Probably.
Was talking about Stalingrad, children defending Stalingrad.
What were the hits of 1992? Wait, Derek, how old are you?
31.
Oh my God, he doesn't even remember 92. Oh,
I mean, no, I do not.
no, you don't remember
That was
1992,
only-
but you probably remember a lot of these songs because they just don't go away.
Yeah.
Let's see, "Baby Got Back" by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Oh my
yeah.
God, I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that because Sir Mix-a-Lot's from where I'm from. So, yeah. "Jump" by Crisscross.
Yep.
"Save the Best for Last" from Vanessa Williams. "Yeah, Baby,
Yep.
Baby, Baby" by TLC. Are you just quoting TLC? Hey, you can't just be quoting TLC. Oh my God, if you haven't seen that movie, if you know what movie I'm talking about, it's Will. What is it? The Good Guys? I think that's what it's called. The Good Guys. It's Will Ferrell and what's his name? Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Wahlberg.
Marky Mark, yeah. Marky Mark Wahlberg.
The desk pop, is that what they were talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, with the desk pop and all that, and the chief just keeps quoting TLC every time they come up. "Listen, boys, don't go chasing waterfalls, okay?" Are you quoting TLC? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
That was my joke for a long time about chasing waterfalls because I did landscape photography for quite a while.
Really?
Like side thing. Yeah. Which is like once I learned about chasing waterfalls, I was like, oh, that's not what the song is about.
That's not what it's about. No. It's quit going after those. Quit going after those. People of ill repute. I guess
Yep.
we'll put it that way.
Yep.
Don't be chasing the booty, as it were. "I saw a Tom Barr video where he went right into the gravel level and only left roots in the soil to regrow." Question. Okay, here we go. Plant question. "I had a bit of a quandary with my tank this week. Styrogony repens carpet, stems long enough to cut. Had to decide whether to chop the stems to the substrate or leave some leaves." Styrogony, I will always almost always pull it out, trim all the tops off, replant all of the tops. That's like the quickest, easiest way to explain it. I have lots of videos of me doing that. I don't know where they are. They're somewhere on YouTube. Somewhere in the depths of my convoluted YouTube channel here, which people have been so gracious to support. Oh, hold on, Derek, we got to do the commercial real quick. Hey, man, if you're not a member like Derek, you should become a member on YouTube. Click the button, put money in to the YouTube casino hole. Just stuff the money right in there, and then become a member. We only have 71 members. We need more members so that we can, I don't know, do whatever it is that we want to do around here, like build a damn fish room. Derek's out here resealing his walls, breaking down pergolas, just showing off man strength out there in New York. Just anybody comes by, he just growls at them and knocks a pergola down. You know what I'm saying? Be like Derek. He's a member, right? Be more like Derek. He is a member. He's contributing, and we're going to try and do more projects like go to Peru. I'm still editing some Peru videos. Don't ask me why it's taking so long. I have reached wit's end at editing, and if I had a camera recording in here, all of the moments where I just start cussing, like, you know how when Popeye eats a spinach and he gets really strong? It's like that, but me swearing. You know what I'm saying? That's the parallel. I get Popeye spinach strength with swearing at editing. It's not going well. I've been taking lots of walks. I'll put it that way, because I'm like, I gotta just walk around and look at some trees or something, because it's frustrating me at this point. But needless to say, like the Peru videos, that was not $0. It costs a bunch of money to go do it. Obviously, you got a lot of content on Aquarium Co-op channel about it. I have a bunch of content. I thought we were going to go back to Peru, so that was going to be the secondary part of those videos. Now I'm trying to figure out how to edit those videos without a secondary part, because we probably aren't going back. Just, it's not our end, it's their end. It's the people organizing in Peru. Also, there may or may not be another civil war going on down there, so I don't know if we're going to go back anytime soon, because we're not. I mean, there was a point in time where I probably could have been qualified as some kind of guerrilla warfare type guy, but that's not me now. I got kids. I got things to do. I gotta mow the neighbor's lawn. I'm busy, okay? So I don't have time for that. But yeah. Anyhow, become a member. Good commercial. Very succinct. Anyhow, moving back on to what.
I mow the neighbor's lawn, which is actually hilarious. Yeah.
You mow the neighbor's lawn? You have old people?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by old people, and I realized over the weekend. Over the weekend, I was having some conversations with people. We had to drive 400 miles each way to go have conversations with these people, so that was the extent of my weekend, guys. But regardless, we were there, had a conversation, we were talking about it, and I realized why I'm cutting my neighbor's lawn. A, it's a nice thing to do. It's a nice charitable thing to do. B, it's a little extra exercise, which is always good for the legs, get the legs pumping, get a little sweat on, get a little sun on my face. It's always good. But secret option C is the thing that most of you guys don't know, and I'm going to illuminate you as to why I'm cutting my neighbor's lawn. My neighbor is 86 or something. I don't know. Super old. She's super old. She came to my spouse and said, I need somebody to cut my lawn. My son-in-law used to cut my lawn, but my mower is broken. I've got 3 broken lawnmowers now. Maybe Joel can help out with what I got going on. Now, I had a decision to make here. This is an executive decision, guys. A, I could go fix the lawnmowers and make the son-in-law mow the lawn. B, I could mow the lawn myself. Now, I chose B because the last thing I want to be known as the guy who can fix lawnmowers and weed whackers and small engine repair. I do not want to be known as that guy in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Because now every dingbat in the area will start dropping off. Hey, Chief, my weed whacker don't work. My weed whacker don't work. Can you get it running? And it's like, well, the reason it doesn't run is because you put fuel in it and you stuck it in your shed outside for 4 years in the freezing cold winter and then the blazing hot summer. Like, that's why it doesn't work. We're going to rebuild your whole weed whacker for you for free? Like, no, this is... You got to have a line that you draw right in the ground. You draw it right around your house. No small engine repair in here, inside this line, right? Yeah. To the point where I won't even fix my own stuff. I would probably just buy a new one. Or I even take it to the small engine repair guy. Leave it there for probably the 18 months that it'll take him to get to it. And then get a phone call about how I owe somebody $100 because they fixed a lawnmower I forgot about.
Do you have enough do you have a riding mower?
Negative, okay. Ghost Rider. I don't have a rider. Nope.
I definitely don't have enough space or enough grass to justify one, but I ended up switching. I switched to battery, and I haven't looked back. I've completely converted to the Ego brand of stuff, and it's been great.
Yeah, I think the next mower I go for will be battery operated. I've used a couple of the DeWalt ones. I've used, what's the green? There's a green brand.
There's Ryobi.
It's not Ryobi. It's the other green one. What's the other green?
It's Eco then.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Because
one,
they have the
those works pretty good.
snowblower, the two-stage snowblower, and all that kind of stuff. Which is, I also got that, and it worked surprisingly well for Western New York winters.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't have to stabilize fuel. I don't have to.
Yep.
There's so many things you don't have to deal with. Ego.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. Ego. It was one of these ding dang guys.
The barrier to entry is the worst part. It's just the batteries themselves are wicked expensive.
I do have a fair bit of power tools since that's my trade.
Yeah. You're better off buying an actual tool that comes with a battery, which is one of the reasons why I bought the snowblower, because it came with 2 7.5 amp hour ones versus trying to just buy them outright. But their customer support's super cool. There's actually an issue with the snowblower that if you use it for extended periods of time, just because the actual chute controls are by wire, not like any sort of crank mechanism. So what would happen is if it wasn't like super cold, you'd get melting snow that would then travel its way down into the brake lines or into the wire lines and then freeze. So you couldn't adjust your chute left or right. Emailed them. They sent me yep, this is definitely an issue. Our engineers are working on it, and they sent me like free grease and a like step-by-step instruction guide on how to like tip the lawnmower over, like thaw the lines, clean them out, and then I haven't had the issue since, and it's been pretty great. So I was really surprised that they turned that like a fix around that fast, but I've been really happy with them so far. I don't miss my gas stuff at all.
No, I think I'm slowly converting to battery operated stuff. Even on my corded tools, because the cordless stuff actually is that good now. It's been many years. We were waiting a very long time.
Yep.
Like I even have a worm drive. Even my worm drive skill saw, right? Like my big framing skill saw, it's wireless. It's a battery operated one now. Yeah. They're just that good.
It's like brushless with massive capacity. They're super efficient. Lots of power.
Yeah, and I want the weed whacker. The weed whacker is the one I want. I don't mind waiting on the lawnmower, but I'm waiting for my weed whacker to explode. I've had the damn thing like going on 12 years now or something, and it still works. So I'm like,
is it a 2-stroke or 4-stroke?
It's a 2-stroke.
Yeah, so it'll probably never die.
Probably. I mean, that's the thing. I bet the shaft will probably snap off of it one day, and they'll be like, well, but here's the upside with that. If that motor keeps going and the all of the whacker accoutrement, right, falls off of it, then I've got a go-kart mower, or a go-kart motor. So that day is kind of a good day, because I'll be like, oh, well, now we get to upgrade the whacker, right? People call them string twimmers, and I just,
Yeah, I've always called it the weed whacker.
Yeah, and I'll have a go-kart motor, so that'll be good. That'll be a good day. We'll have fun. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I would recommend to anybody to switch over to battery as far as that kind of stuff goes now, because there's just such quality out there. You might as well.
Yeah, we're kind of past like the initial just like hype of like this is this new thing. They've been out long enough to where
they actually have to make it durable and work well.
Yep. It's not just the new hotness.
Yep. Although one of the things I will say is a lot of the new skill saws that are out now, just a regular circular saw, most of them are driving on the right-hand side, and I don't. For the life of me, I cannot figure why are they doing that. I don't know why the hell they're doing that. It is the most annoying thing in the world. I'm like, the blade is supposed to be on the left-hand side.
Right.
I'm right-handed. Now I can see with my eyes where the blade is. Why would you put it over there? You know, I swear it's somebody that's never cut their finger off that decided to do that thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. And I still get the heebie-jeebies every once in a while. Working around, like if I got the table saw running for a long time and I'm doing cut after cut after cut after cut, every once in a while I'll get the like,
Yep.
oh, okay, better pay attention. Better pay
My
closer
brother has
attention.
9 3/4 digits because of a table saw, so I'm very, very cautious around
Yeah,
table saws.
I'm telling you, when it escapes your body bits, like it's very fast. It's very fast, very efficient, very efficient. So that's one thing you could say. The efficiency is quite high. Our likes to viewer ratio is just effed up. People gotta. I can understand why people don't want to become a YouTube member. I get it. That costs money, but hitting the like button is literally free. It's literally free. Although, actually, hold on. Let me backpedal here a little bit. The algorithm will start to learn something about you if you hit the like button. So be aware the AI will know more. The machines will know more about you. I mean, Skynet's coming, right? So you might as well let Skynet know your preferences now, right? It's better to let them know now instead of them having to force it out of you. So let's just do that. We don't want them to put you in the pods, okay? We don't want that. We don't want that for you. Oh yeah, what was the other thing? Oh crap, there was a thing I was going to ask you about. Oh yeah, what fish are you doing down there? I felt like I knew what you were going to start doing, and then it just escaped my brain.
Like everything, when I initially start to plan something, it changes 100 times. I was originally going to do like some plant grow outs and then try to do some breeding setups with, because I have 8 20 highs, 4 40 breeders, and then I have a 50 low boy, which I'm probably going to do like, that might just be in my office, and not hooked up to any sort of automation. I can just do like a kind of like more of a, not like biotope type of tank, but, yeah. So initially the 120 was going to be like a native tank, but I also I've had everything from pea puffers to green spotted puffers, and I want to kind of go to the next level that I could get something that's a little bit bigger, because I really do like freshwater puffers. So I was thinking about doing that in the 120, or doing a fully native tank with like North American native species fish that I can legally keep in New York State, which is actually quite a few. Probably some like bluegill or sunnies or things like that, but I'm not sold on what I'm going to stock the 120 with.
Oh, okay.
But if I did a native tank, I would probably not be able to have very many plants.
Well, actually, that's really the downside. Is like when you go like, yeah, I want to do a native tank, and then you kind of look outside and you're like, God damn it.
Yep.
It gets frozen out here all the time. Like, okay.
Yep. So that's why a larger species of puffer would probably be interesting, because I could probably keep a decent selection of plants and stuff with that. But then I want to start. I think I'm really trying to get into like German blue rams, or just kind of any sort of rams. But
yeah,
we'll see. Not sure yet.
Well, it makes sense. Like I've noticed that most of the rams that are out there there's a big market for them too. So if you're keeping them, breeding them, you're gonna have something to trade, which is ultimately, in my opinion, sort of the best thing to do. If you're doing something and you have something to trade, that's gonna work pretty well. And I think a lot of keepers out there and stuff are definitely collecting them. So the other one is like rainbow fish and killifish. Those seem to be the ones right now, unless somebody knows something else that I don't know. Those seem to be at the top of everyone's wish list.
I definitely want to do. I actually have in the 60 gallon right now. I have like 15 Florida flagfish or American flagfish. So they're killifish, but they're pretty common. But I guess in my area, there's like a pretty big killifish club in Western New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious about those, but I love doing planted stuff too. So I've got a lot of tanks that I could do different things in, specifically with my water parameters and that sort of stuff. I am on city water, but I'm gonna have that all filtered so I don't have to do any sort of treatment with like prime or anything out of the gate. So we'll see. I need to get stuff built before I want to start stocking stuff or planning about stocking stuff. But
About stocking stuffers?
yeah,
You can't put fish in a stocking, man. I just hate to break the news to you. Don't do it.
Actually, I think I post it in the Discord about I got some like boosts for free because one of the I was getting some red lotus tiger lilies, and the boost was like right next to it, and apparently when they grabbed it, I ended up getting a little sample of boost for free. So that was super fun. So I've got that I've got a fluval flex with a beta in it. So I put that in there with the bulbs for now before I figure out where I want to put stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I think you did post that. I think you did post a little something about that.
Yeah.
There's nothing quite like getting free plants. I'm a big fan. People give me fish, and I'm like, dude, get out of here. I don't. Great, now I got to deal with this. But people are like, hey, I have all these weird plants. I'm like, yeah, bring them over, drop them off. I'll figure it out.
Adding more plants is typically not going to hurt.
Typically, yeah, depends. I mean, we even have a Venus flytrap now. That's what I'm saying. It's out of control. We'd be out here. We'd be out here catching like flies.
Actual physical plants now too. So I've got like a husky rack that has a bunch of stuff on it that I'm probably going to end up doing some sort of like aquaponics setup to help with natural filtration and that sort of thing too. So
yeah, that makes sense.
But that'll probably come after I get at least the rack set up, and then I can plumb that in so I can have some sort of like some sort of bypass or secondary sump for the bigger tank to filter out of that for aquaponics stuff. So.
Yeah. Matt Weber's here. Long time. He's been gone for a long time, but he's been around for a long time. Matt Weber says, have you looked into the crazy stupidity of Florida legislation they are attempting for fish/reptiles? Yeah, I've actually spoken on the subject a few times. They tried to pass federal legislation in order to start a regulatory body for fish, plants, inverts coming in and out of the country. It was stopped by the Republican Party. The GOP backed weirdos claim that any restriction on anything ever is a direct attack on their liberty, which, whatever. I mean, I've spoken about this many times, but we live in a society where everybody has to kind of coexist with each other, and there do need to be restrictions on certain things, like driving 300 miles an hour on the freeway. Someone's just gonna die, and it's typically going to be somebody like uninvolved in the situation, right? Same kind of deal with what's going on in Florida is that, yeah, the individual fish keepers, the individual reptile keepers, all those people, you know what? They really weren't ever affected by anything that they kept there. They always promised and swore up and down, oh, I'm a responsible keeper, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm the best. And then a hurricane blows through. All the animals get loose, they get out into the environment, and guess what? They're proliferating like crazy. I mean, I personally am not down there to view it with my own eyes. I don't find that to be like a real standard. It doesn't require me to physically be at a place to understand, like, hey, there's enough reporting and people, basically explaining what is going on in an area. I can generally take people's word for things, especially when it comes to the thousands of articles, the thousands of videos, all sorts of stuff that comes out of Florida where all the invasive species are there. And generally speaking, the people right now are probably not going to be directly directly influenced by the disaster that the environment will become, right? We have examples of that around the world. For instance, you could just look at Australia and New Zealand, right? Australia and New Zealand, and you can see the devastation that has happened to the environment that is there. Rick Templin says, "Man, you are absolutely wrong." Okay, wow, what a forceful, great argument. Such coherent typing. It's the first time you've commented in my chat. It's the first time I've read your name today. In fact, I can search my chat and find out if you've even said anything. It's the first thing that you've said. You managed to type it out. Wow. Oh, well, you got me. I just must be wrong. Okay. Anyhow, moving on to what I was talking about. The people that live there now are probably not going to be directly affected by the changes in the environment with what is going on in the ecosystem there. But over time, it gets worse and worse and worse. And like I said, there are examples out there that you can look up. New Zealand would be one. Australia would be one. Gigantic areas where the entire ecosystem was decimated by introducing invasive animals into the area, and then they just ended up running rampant. And then they go, about 50 years later, go, wait, everything's all effed up now. Oh, our native bird is dead. Right? Like, their bird is dead. I live in an area where our native bird, the bald eagle, right? You can go see bald eagles. You could go see bald eagles right now if you wanted to. You could go find them. You could go see them. You could look at them. The reason that you can do that now, when I was a kid, you would never find a bald eagle. Bald eagle was rarer than hen's teeth. Although now they are no longer endangered because of legislations like the crap that's going on in Florida. You might not personally like what is happening. That doesn't mean that it's not necessary or unnecessary, right? Just because of your like or dislike of something doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? I don't like black licorice. I think it's factually disgusting, right? But my dislike of that doesn't mean, oh, it should be stricken from the markets, right? Regulating invasive. All right, let's go to the chat here for a second. Regulating invasive species is one thing. Blacklisting 99% versus creating a whitelist is the main problem. The blacklist route just historically creates a push toward more black market trade. Okay. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But, as I said, there was federal legislation in place to push through a whitelist. That got stricken down by the GOP. By the way, the people that are pushing this for this in Florida is the GOP. The GOP did not want federal regulated. They want weird state regulations where everything is bizarro world, whether you're in Arkansas or Alabama or Florida or Georgia or Washington or New York or California. They want that. They want Captain Insano country, right? So the legislation was being pushed for a federal regulatory body to start checking the imports and the exports at the points where they're coming into the country, at all of the points of import. And that got shot down because of this nonsensical austerity measures pushed by the Republican Party of, well, where's this money going to come from? Okay, well, either way, the money's going to come from somewhere in the form of either it's going to get legislated or not, right? And either the area is going to be devastated or it won't. One of the points that I brought up was last week. One of the points that I brought up was man got rid of wolves in Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Colorado, all of those states. There's more, but I'm not going to sit here and list off every state that ever had a wolf in it, okay? Man shot them all. They were all gone. Wolves are reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park. Over just a few years, the river started relocating itself, and they were like, oh my God, what is happening? And it turns out It's because the wolves were moving the herds around, and it started to move the river back to its historical route where it used to go. Just the introduction of a species like wolves to the area, and I think they only introduced like 20 of them or something, was enough to start putting things back. Well, in Florida, you have a very unique situation where you have all of these invasive species on the loose breeding outside. They're breeding outside captivity. They're breeding out of control. Well, who's going to pay to get them out of there, right? So somebody's got to pay at some point in time. Somebody's got to be inconvenienced at some point in time to start to try and at least mitigate the damage that's going on. I do recall somebody, maybe it was Zip Gun, maybe it was somebody, they'd sent me a thing that, like, apparently there are no more, there's no more, like, small mammals in Florida right now. Like, all of the small mammals you would normally see, like squirrels and raccoons and like an occasional rabbit or whatever, they're all, like, just not around. Well, it's going to drop big parts of the food chain, and it's going to start changing. It's going to start changing the environment down there. I don't know. If that's a concern to you, then you should probably get to backing some kind of legislation to try and get things fixed. I know that the government is vilified by both sides of the coin, by weird lefties and weird righties, whatever you guys want to call yourself. I don't really care. Frankly, the government is always sort of vilified. The government is a representation of the community's wants, wishes, needs, what we want done. That's our collective ability to engage with that, right? And if we don't engage with it, it's just gonna spin around in kind of a useless way, right? And so I would encourage people to get involved and actually talk to people and actually get involved with people that have some kind of influence over the thing, whether it be your city councilman, whether it be your city councilwoman, or maybe your mayor, or maybe your governor, or maybe your state representatives, or all of these people up the chain that you could contact and go like, hey, how do we get involved to, like, make this better? I would highly recommend you do that, because it's probably a half an hour a week, making a phone call, putting an email together, and sending it out, right? So, like, that's what my recommendation would be to the average person. I 100% appreciate people engaging with me, and I would like to have, I would love to have, like, I'll publish it on my channel if somebody wants to come on and argue with me that I'm whatever liberal, libcuck, tard, whatever you want to call me, whatever insult people feel like they got to throw at me for whatever reason. That's fine. I'll gladly debate with people about the finer points of the legislation that's going on. If you have an opinion about something, if you think whatever, I'm gladly talk to anybody. Send me an email. My email is attached to the YouTube channel. You could come on. You could yell at me. You could tell me I'm stupid. That's great. Fine by me. That's all good. I'd love to talk to people about what's going on. Maybe you have a solution. Maybe you don't want to talk to me. You could just send me an email and just say how much of a piece of crap I am. Great. That's cool too. I frankly don't care. My point would be that something has to happen because, you know, where I live, we have a bunch of invasive species that we're currently dealing with now. And it freezes here every year, right? We get snow up in the mountains. We get snow down here in the low hills where this last year, I believe it dropped to, I think the lowest we had was minus 15. So a lot of the stuff isn't going to survive the winter here. But if you're talking about somewhere like Florida or Georgia or Mississippi or whatnot, you ain't going to have that buffer of, well, a bunch of the stuff froze and died. It's just not going to happen down there. But, you know. The other side of the coin is no matter what program you have in place, the demand for inspectors to actually verify the program is functioning is a major issue. Yeah, which is why I was originally backing the federal program that actually had federal tax dollars applied to it. Most Americans don't understand the difference between local governments and the federal government. Local government cannot spend more money than they have. You can't. You can't run any kind of deficit at any point in time. And I know that that's probably confusing to most people, but federal spending can be over the budget, right? I know that a lot of people out there are complaining about the deficit and the fact that we overspend. Most reasonable economists always said if the deficit got too high, eventually this country would collapse. Nowadays, with actual better forecasting and computer programs that can actually start to like analyze the data faster than like an individual person can, they started to realize, oh wait, if the country continues to grow, the deficit isn't that big of a deal, right? And so if the GDP continues to grow, if the country continues to grow and is just moving forward, it's just like a company that has a bunch of loans on the business, right? But the company continues to do well each year. Well, all the people get paid. The business just keeps moving forward. Well, it's the same thing. That's kind of what's going on with the country. And also, it's very confusing for people that the country is not a business. The country is essentially a nonprofit organization, right? It's an organization that doesn't extract profit to any one individual owner. That's why I would say it's more of a nonprofit than it is like running a business. So running a business is always a terrible model to like compare the government to. But yeah. Derek?
Yes.
Did I lose you? Sorry, I went on a wacky rant there.
No, I'm still here.
I went on an ADD rant.
I'm listening.
I went on an ADD rant where I jumped around and I probably never even summarized what I was talking about.
Here.
Let's see. Hello, Joel and everyone. Greetings from Belgium. Oh, man, I was going to go to Belgium this year. My daughter's birthday is conflicting with it. So maybe next year. I wish I knew when Vivarium was in 2024. Let me check. What do you think about regulation? What do you think, dude? Or yeah, I mean, I guess you could say you don't care about anything.
I think what's going on in Florida with the invasive species is like absolutely insane, and I don't know if I feel like there's never going to be a perfect answer that's going to satisfy everyone. You're going to ruffle people's feathers or, make somebody frustrated or not agree with you no matter what you do, especially when politics are involved, because everything gets so polarized. But I think something needs to be done. I don't know, and I'm not well versed enough on the topic to like say this is the way that it should be done, but I think that something needs to be done. I have a couple friends in Florida that like they're catching plecos, like huge plecos.
Oh yeah, the common plecos are like everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just overrunning everything. I think wasn't there plecos that were like, weren't they feeding on the sides of manatees?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the ones that they caught were like the ones that you see that are, super old and have been in tanks for years, but it's because they have no predators, they run rampant. So.
Yeah, here it is right here. So they call them armored catfish, but the common pleco is causing harm to the Florida's manatees, right?
Interesting.
So they cling onto the side of the manatees and feed off of them, and it harms the manatees themselves. And I'll tell you, if you've ever seen a manatee before, they are like the biggest dipshits you've ever seen. Like, I mean, they literally are just bonking around and they do not have any skill set of like, something's messing with me. Like boats run into them and they're like, "Ah, dang, guy,"
Yep.
And,
but I think
I would say this: if there was no plecos, if there was a scale right here, if you had a scale, and the scale was no plecos, no manatees, I would vote for the no plecos. Like F the common pleco. Like I don't know. Yeah. I mean, especially considering there's like 98,000 undescribed Plecostomus species. It's like, oh, we lose the common pleco. Darn, there's only 97,999 left
Right.
to go. You know.
I think your analogy with the bald eagles though is like hit with me pretty hard because growing up in like the New York PA area, you could own like it was a thing to see them in Pennsylvania. Like there was only a very specific area that you could actually like see them, and if you got to see one, it was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And now it's like I'm in a bunch of like, you know, nature and landscape photography groups, and like one of the big state parks that did not have bald eagles in it for a really long time, or it was super rare, is now covered in them because they actually are being reintroduced through through their protections and that sort of thing. So that definitely resonated with me.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like I think one of the bigger issues is that most legislation that's getting passed, almost always it's a hammer down onto one specific thing that an individual person feels like, right? And more to my point is that the continued inaction is what has already caused the problem that we're in, right? And so, like Matt was saying, that the problem with both sides is the legislation, both federal and state level, didn't even quantify a precise level of species identification. If anyone basically just thought it's close enough, it counts. Now, I know that that's inaccurate, just as a statement of what the federal operating body and species description. I've brought fish in through the airport, and they actually had to bring somebody from Fish and Wildlife that could actually identify what they were. So we actually had to leave the fish there for 12 hours until they could actually get them identified. Like, I've seen the very minimal level that we have now, and it's far more professional than what you're describing. Is just somebody just thinks it's close enough. I haven't seen that now, and that's with like no real applied monies to fund it, right? And so like I don't think that that's accurate, but my bigger concern is like the total lack of inaction is what's causing the problem now, right? That is the cause of the problem, that there was no legislation in place. There were no restrictions in place at all. So the total lack of action turns out to be an action that leads us to where we are now, right? So if everyone just goes hands off and, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it, it'll work its way out or whatever. Well, you know, that's how we got to where we're at now. So that's my bigger concern, right? Is that like, well, if we continue to just kick the can down the road forever, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. And things are only just going to get worse. So, you know, initially I was in favor of the federal program because it was, you know, I believe I'm just trying to remember the numbers here because I haven't even looked at it in a long time. But they were starting out with a $200 million a year budget in order to get people at the ports, right? Which right now we import stuff. I work for a company that imports stuff on a regular basis, and the imports right now are understaffed for where our ports are at, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the existing legislation. The new legislation, from all I've read into it, including the bills, doesn't include nor expand on any of that identification processes. So, like the current import-export lists look like this. So, point of origin will have an export list, right? So, for instance, like when we were coming from Peru, the Peruvian export, the Peruvian government has people at the export location. So we would go to a wholesaler who has an export license, right? The wholesaler's job is to identify these fish, right? To identify these fish, to know the list that they can export to either out of Peru or to the United States or to wherever other country. Maybe going to Japan or something. Now, the exporter in Peru would go, all of these fish right here, we can't do anything with these, so don't even try. All of these fish, yes, then we'll get them identified here to make sure that we have the right species identification. We'll bag those up. Then we send them to the guy who verifies that we identified them properly, so that we did the species identification on our end. Then then it goes to the government guy at Peru. This is just a specific interaction that I've had, right? That it goes to the government guy in Peru. Then he verifies that the species identification was correct. Then when it comes to the United States, lands wherever airport, point of entry, water port, wherever it's coming in, those people there will verify we have a living species. There it is, alive, right? They'll open it up, look at it. Okay, that's a cichlid. That's a this. Okay, cool. They'll put them back. Then they put that security tape over the top of it. Then they pass it along to you, and then you do whatever the hell you want to do with it after that. So it's very interesting to see the process when you actually go through the process physically in person and go like, oh, okay, wow, this actually, it takes a day here. Then it takes a day over with those guys. Then it takes a day to go over through the air. Then it lands there. Then it has to land wherever else it's going. So it's a bit of a lengthy process in order to import, export, that kind of stuff. But just the assumption now that people are just like, it's close enough, it's fine, whatever. I mean, obviously there probably are people that are terrible at their job wherever you go. But generally speaking, most people are trying to do a good job at what they do. So, I mean, I guess the assumption is that everyone's an idiot and everyone is just literally like stupid morons just walking around with their mouths hanging open. They don't really care about anything. I guess everybody just doesn't care about anything, which is interesting because I find myself caring about a lot of stuff and I'm interested in a lot of stuff and I seem engaged with a lot of stuff, but I guess if the assumption is that everyone's just a jack-off idiot, then I don't know what we're doing then. What's the point with doing anything ever, I guess? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Matt says, yeah, the FWC board is a joke. Appointed officials that can easily have zero knowledge or experience in any part of what they are regulating. I mean, I don't know if these are open. I mean, if these are open positions that you could apply for, I would apply for it. If these are open meetings, most of them are, right? What is it? Florida. Let's see. Is this am I on the right page here? Let's look it up. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Let's look up some of these people. The FWC's 7 commissioners are appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Florida State by the Florida State Senate to 5-year terms. Their constitutional duty is to exercise the regulatory and executive powers of the state with respect to wild animal life, and who is this? Sonia Rude. Sonia Rude of Jacksonville began her service with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation in December 2017. She was appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. Rude was born and raised in Lake Jackson, Texas, and attended Brazos Sport College. I don't know what Brazos Sport College is. She's married to John Rude. She's married to John Rude, a former FWC commissioner and chairman. They have 4 children and 4 grandchildren. Her picture makes her look much younger than having 4 grandchildren, I'll tell you that. Albert Mari. Commissioner Mari is president and CEO of Leon Medical Centers, LLD. He previously served in the Florida International University Board of Trustees. Mari earned his bachelor's degree in finance and accounting from Florida International University. Rodney Barreto of Coral Gables was appointed by Ron DeSantis. Let's see, who's this guy? Chairman Barreto is the president and CEO of Barreto Group Incorporated, a diversified company specializing in corporate and public affairs consulting, real estate investment, and development. He serves on many boards, including the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation and the Florida Highway Patrol Advisory Council. Prior to his career in public affairs and real estate, Barreto was a City of Miami police officer. He earned his Associate of Arts degree from Miami-Dade Community College and his Bachelor of Arts degree in Professional Studies from Barry University. Who's this? Business economics is this guy, Gary Lester. Oh, Commissioner Lester is the Vice President Community Relations for the Villages. Gary Lester is the Villages guy. Gary Nicolaus. Who's this guy? This guy played golf professionally in the PGA Tour. Bachelor of Science degree in Business Admin with an emphasis in finance from the Ohio State University, where he was an All-American golfer. Yep, they're all appointed by Ron DeSantis. But yeah, I mean, oh, there's more of them. There's more of them. Who's this guy? Preston Ferrier. Let's see. I don't know who this guy is. He seems weird. Oh, BA in economics. So they all have a degree. They're business owners. One guy's a cop. I don't know. So, yeah. I mean, it's. Hey, look. Here's the thing. First off, Ron DeSantis is insane. Okay, first and foremost. Period. End of story. Like, I don't. Got to pick up the kiddos. See y'all later. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to go pick up your kid, Derek. I think several of them are in real estate. Yeah, it seems like a lot of them are in real estate. One's a cop. But they're all like college people, and they're all avid outdoorsmen. But regardless of that, like, I think if people wanted like different legislation passed, you could. I mean, you could put in for it. I don't know. Yeah. Head Chairman Barreto is a land developer. Many of the coastal land developments he has profited on are supposedly lands he previously said were protected coastline under FWC control. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you got a lot of corruption going on down in Florida, it's 21 million of y'all down there. That's probably enough people to get motivated about, like, doing something about it, right? What's Florida's population? I think one of the big issues, 21.7 million. So you got close to 22 million people there. You could get motivated to get the corruption out. But I don't know, man. Maybe you'll do it. Maybe you won't. I don't know. Oh, Skoggs is here. What's up, dude? DeSantis aside, he basically just extended their existing role. Most were in the seat before DeSantis was in office. Well, one of them's the wife of the former head of it, but yeah, I mean, if there's a lot of corruption going on down in Florida, I mean, Florida people should get motivated and get it out of there. But I can have opinion about whether or not legislation should get passed or shouldn't, or restrictions should be applied. Yeah, but. I'm not involved in Florida. I know a bunch of fish people, fish fam, YouTuber weirdos have moved to Florida. So I don't know, maybe get them involved and maybe they can get the word out. Last I heard, they were all fighting about whether or not you're supposed to have a filter on your aquarium or something. I don't know. I don't watch any of those people's content. So maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know. Maybe people like it. Yeah. Mickham says, is there no government institution who can put up a new law whenever an imported animal shows to be a problem? Do they need to ban everything at once? Perfection of species ought to be reguled by another law. Skog's just stopping in quick. He's got to do replay Team 6. That's right. If you replay Team 6, you got to leave a comment down below. Tell me I'm an idiot. Do it. I don't mind. Is there no government institution who can put up a new law whether an imported animal shows to be a problem? Yes. But we also have like 50 states in the union, so I know it's like fairly confusing. I think the easy way to explain it to somebody in Europe would be like the EU is sort of an overlord governing body there to a degree, but each country is kind of doing its own thing. Well, same kind of thing with the United States. The United States is basically 50 small countries, which are bigger than most European countries. How much is Europe versus USA population? I think they're really close, right? No, so we want the EU. Oh, so I guess the EU overall is bigger. I thought they were pretty close. I thought the European Union was like 440. The United States. Oh, this is an older number. Okay, so the EU is 447. But I think once you take, I wonder if this is minus England or not. The Brits are out, right? Yeah, the US is close to 350 and the EU is close to 450. Yeah, so that would be like the easy way to describe it, I guess, in a way. And like the continental United States is as big as the entire EU. It's pretty close. The overlay here sort of makes sense. Here, look at this. It's like this. Looks like that. So like the US is like that, the EU is like that. They sort of fit together in a weird way. Does that make sense? Look, so you got like this, blah, 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 blah. Same kind of thing, but it would be like, you know, like Italy's beefing with Spain, right? Like Italy's like, no, we don't want a thing, and Spain's like, yeah, we want a thing, and they're like, yeah, and then the EU's like, but then Norway's like, what? You know, it's kind of like that, deal, right? Yeah, to relate to the Europeans, right? Remove that, get that out of there. Yeah. Okay. Whoop. I don't have FOMO for keeping every single species available in the hobby. I do have FOMO for not being able to experience natural environments. Actually, yeah, that's kind of the bigger issue to me. Like, I think, you know, in my opinion, if they came out and they said, we're not going to allow any more plant species in, like, that's a huge bummer, but okay. And if they said, hey, we're not going to let any more fish species in, there's only these 50 fish species, that's it. That's it. That's all that's coming in. I'd be like, oh, okay. But for me, like, I would just, like, narrow down on my, on my keeping. Like, for instance, in Washington State, where I live, crayfish are illegal. So self-replicating, like CPOs and stuff like that, crayfish are illegal because they ruin our waterways once they get in there, right? So it's illegal to sell them. That's basically how they restrict that invasive species here. But I'm like, oh, that's a bummer, and I just kind of go like, okay, and I just move on, right? So that's basically kind of like my personal takeaway is like, yeah, it's a bummer that certain things are restricted, but I'm like, okay, I just move on with what things I have the ability to do, and just keep moving forward. Whereas like when you go to a mountain and the whole mountain is destroyed, and here's a good example, like in Washington State, you can go to the Oso landslide. Oh, we want an image. We want an image. Why did I get sleepy all of a sudden? I'm yawning. Where's a good perspective shot? This? That's not a very good image. Here's one. Where? Here. Oh my god, it's like super over. Oh, here we go. Here's a pretty good one. We'll save that image. We'll import an image this time. Check this out. We'll do a whole new different feature. Where is it? Image file. Gosh, why do I keep scrolling past image file? Open. Look at this. To those of you that aren't watching, this is an image of a giant landslide. Oh my god, and after picking a good one, this is the resolution we get. Oh my god. Remove that. Let me find a better one. Make everybody just wait around. Is this the image? Here's a fairly good image. Okay, let's just take this one. We'll steal this one. We're just going to look at it. That's all we're doing. We're not stealing it for anything. Nobody's even... Oh my god, we can't... Oh. We're having a problem. Guys, that's the wrong file type. We can't look at that. Okay, we're just going to do this. We're going back to screen capture because it's the best we can do. We'll just do the screen capture over here so you guys don't see any sus stuff that pops up. Okay, here we go. That's not a very good... What about that one? What about this one? Yeah, there you go. So you can see that the road is here. And this one, there's a road right here. That's how small a car is. That's how big this landslide is. And right here, at the flat part, down here at the bottom, that's where all the people lived. See these houses? That's a house right there. 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 That's a house. That might be a shed. Hard to say. All this was houses. Look at that. Down at ground level, right? Once the environment is damaged, you'll likely end up with some form of human... Some human interaction will end up playing the part of the tragedy, right? These are all the same people. These are all the same people that like aggressively lobbied against logging restrictions. And it's unfortunate that this tragedy hit this town. This is a logging town. That's what this town was built for. That's what this town was built to do, was to log trees, man. And it's unfortunate that this is what happened, you know. But when this tragedy shows itself, and you go, well, what could we have done? Well, we could have done a better job in preserving the environment. That's what we could have done, right? Although, you know, we all have complaints that we might not be able to keep our specific thing that we want to keep, right? Look at this. Nothing to see here. We popped out. Look at that. This is what the weird screen capture is now. There we go. Let's close that. Okay. Fix it. And so, you know, when you have an opportunity to go out and see like what an actual environmental damage ends up looking like, when everybody thought, well, the most important thing here is to maintain like these kind of individual want and needs, right? And it's incredibly unfortunate when that kind of thing ends up happening. Yeah. Well, I got the green room open. We had Derek earlier. We lost Derek. In case anybody wants to call in, you still can. Okay. Where are we at? We're at an hour and 40 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. Okay. We gotta stream to keep the members and the patrons happy, right? Now, we got to hear from the members and the patrons on whether or not they want to keep the stream going. I don't know. Exactly how I act, because almost all salamanders are illegal in Washington. Wait, what's going on? Yep, some new law banned the wrong snails, supposed to be invasive some years ago, causing problems in rice and vegetable plantations, but they got banned. But they banned the wrong species. There are several representatives. Oh yeah, and I mean, so okay, all right. Let's just say, for argument's sake, okay, to be clear here, that let's say for argument's sake that the new Florida Wildlife Commission, whoever these weirdos are, we tried to look them up. They seem weird, but whatever. Let's say that their new restrictions that they're putting in, it's the worst possible thing you've ever seen. Everything is banned. They ban everything. Let's say that they ban everything. Let's say it's a prohibition on importing fish into the state. Let's say that's the case, right? Well, if that's what they pass, what would you like to see in place? Because if that doesn't motivate people to vote / get involved, I don't know what it would take for people to get involved. Because right now, I don't know how much people are actually involved. That'd be the bigger concern that I have. So, from a standpoint of letting Florida go completely off the rails and just letting them do insane stuff, well, they're going to pass whatever they're going to pass. Certain things will end up being argued in court. They get run up until they get to the Supreme Court, if need be. You know, that's the system that we have here in the United States. So if they need to do that in Florida in order to force some kind of national discussion or whatever, I mean, I would just let them do it. They already passed legislation to restrict immigrant workers. They already saw the effect of that. I can't imagine that there's any mitigation. Migrant workers in Florida. Let's see what's going on. Survival mode. Florida's migrant workers considered a future. A new law that goes into effect July 1 has many migrant workers in Florida rethinking their future in the Sunshine State. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, here it is. The new law goes into effect July 1 and will start to target workforce lacking proper legal documents in various industries. It expands the worker verification process and requires that businesses with 25 or more employees have to use the E-Verify, an online system that checks a person's citizenship. If someone is found working without proper documents, the state can penalize employers. Which, admittedly, I'm like, if you're going to go after somebody, go after the people that are employing, that are the employers. So, from that standpoint, I agree. I disagree that this is any kind of legislation that's really going to help anybody or solve a problem, because all it's doing is just penalizing, right? So, you know, like, I think it's terrible, but it's really going to force something to happen, right? It's really going to force people to have to get involved and figure out, like, a resolution to this wacky legislation that was passed, right? So while I think it's miserable for the people involved and the people that this is affecting negatively, and I don't advocate for that at all. I don't advocate for those people to be harmed. You know, I think that that's awful and that's terrible. But they are really forcing the discussion down there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's a perfect example of, like, crazy legislation that they're passing down there. Like the fact that they're losing school teachers over this whole indoctrinating the children laws that they're passing down there, which is frankly insane. And speaking of that, one of our fellow fish fam people got wildly famous when they posted what was going on in the library there. They posted a video that they just thought wasn't gonna get picked up. It got picked up by national news and stuff, because all the books were taken out of the library because they didn't know what's going to happen. Now, the way that they influenced that law is that the school district gets sued by the parents, right? When the parents find a problem, the parents can essentially sue the school district for free. And the school district has to pay out the penalties and fines. So it's really a way to, like, cripple the school system down there, the educational system in Florida, so that they can end up with school choice and the voucher system and all that crazy nonsense that, what's her name? Who was that lady? Education under Trumper. Betsy DeVos, this creep. Yeah, the Betsy DeVos, this crazy creep billionaire. Yeah. Her whole thing to try and extract money from the United States educational system, which is her whole thing. That's her whole thing. The North American crayfish is invasive here in Scandinavia. Brought some parasites killing our local species. Humans moving animals is way more devastating today. Travel patterns ruins any control. Yeah, I mean, the fact that people can fly around in planes, I mean, that's why the pandemic was so crazy. It's like people are flying from end to end on the planet on airplanes in such a short period of time. That's how the pandemic got out of control, really. Home finally with the gold nugget I adopted. Oh, wow. Oh my God, we have a caller. Line hold on, line 4. Line 4?
Is that me? Am I line 4?
Is it you? It's you. Yeah. Calling from area code 212.
212. Isn't that New York?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not me then.
Yeah, actually, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, no, it is you. I was just joking. I'm not giving away your area code.
That's good.
But Neil deGrasse Tyson was actually talking about the 212 area code. You know why it is that? They wanted to
No.
So the area code can't be ones. Like, it can't start with ones. For what the old rotary phones, you couldn't start with it being a 1.
Right.
So 2 was the smallest number you could start with. 1 was the smallest number next, and 2 was the smallest number next on the rotary phone.
Huh.
So you could dial New York the fastest. That was the whole reason New York got the 212 area code. I was like, wow. It's that ridiculous. Okay. People in the past
for
were
the purposes of calling your Wall Street really fast.
Wall Street.
Buy,
Buy, sell,
sell.
sell fast. Buy low, sell high. I know all about it, right?
sell, buy. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Should I check my stocks real quick?
Sure, mine are doing okay, I guess.
Oh, this one's down 1.2%. Oh my god.
Time to jump
Oh
out
my-
the window.
Oh my god. Did I throw my body? Although I did check my investment portfolio, it is up 11% on the year. So we're doing good. We're doing good over there where the pros are involved. Where the amateur idiot is involved, we are down 1.29%. So
That's a conspiracy.
no, it's proof in the pudding is that like I'm not an expert in that and I'm not as good as somebody who is.
Right.
Are involved. Where the amateur idiot is involved, we are down 1.
Oh my God.
You're replaying.
That's a
Oh, God.
conspiracy.
We were looping. Did you hear that loop?
I did. That was really weird. Why did
Oh my
that
god, we were looping there for a second, folks.
That might
Oh
have
my
been
God.
me.
It's all your fault.
Do you guys remember rotary phones? Do you remember how like insane rotary phones were?
What's a rotary phone?
Oh my god.
I'm kidding.
The Utes don't even know what a rotary phone is. Actually, I'm going to tell you guys a little quick story here about rotary phones and when I was a young man. When I was a young man, there were a thing called pay phones, okay? There were these weird things where Superman would change into his underwear in them. But there was a phone in there, and you could put money into it to make phone calls. Now, here's where the fun comes in. When you made a long-distance phone call, you would pick it up, and you'd hit 0, and you would call, what the hell were they called? The secretary?
An operator?
Operator. Yeah, there you go. Duh.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm a dumb person. You know. You'd call your secretary, right? Okay. So you'd call the secretary from the telephone company, and you'd go like, "I'm making a phone call to 555-12 blah 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 whatever," and they'd go like, "Okay, the charges are $1.85 or something, right?" Now,
and then you say that's a ridiculous amount of money.
oh, bippity boppity boopity, yeah. You start shaking a breadstick at him, yeah.
Yes.
Now, what's crazy is that back then,
Style at the time.
so back in the day, you'd drop the coins in, and as the coins dropped in, it would right? It would send this clicking noise to the operator to verify that you put X amount of money into the phone. Well, we actually had a device that would play the clicking noise of the quarters.
I've definitely heard about this.
Yeah. And so we'd play the clicking noise of the quarters until you got to like, $3 or whatever, and then you could make whatever phone calls you wanted for free. And then you could just call around the country and just yell at people or do whatever you wanted. You could crank call people. You could ask them about their refrigerator, You could do whatever you wanted back then.
Find out if it was running or not.
Yeah. Is the refrigerator running?
You better go catch it.
Got him. Got him.
Damn you, kid. Yeah.
Am I getting
Yeah.
emails? I'm getting emails. Oh my God, I'm getting emails. Okay, here we go.
Are they important emails?
Their work emails are coming in hot.
Uh-oh.
So I do.
Uh-oh.
So before I do this meeting, we do a Zoom meeting for work, and then the notes start getting populated onto the work thing, whatever you want to call it. And then I get like 40 email notifications that like things are up, posted.
Right.
Tell the Superman story to today's generation, and they don't get any of it. Actually, yeah, that's probably true. I think
At least a classic one.
people of a certain age would have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Yeah, probably what, like 15 and under or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
I
here's a perfect example. When somebody posted a TikTok where they were going around asking kids to do the phone signal, right? To like,
yeah.
how do you make a hand gesture for when you're on the phone? And they like hold their hand out flat like this, like they're looking at their smartphone.
Oh
Like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
They don't do the phone thing over your ear. And kids these days, oh, I'm telling you, the Utes. What are the Utes doing? Here's what's funny. You know what the Utes are doing? They're doing the exact same thing the Utes have always been doing. It's no different.
Inventing new lingo and
Yep.
hanging out and trying to figure out who they are, and yeah, that's what they're doing. Like I work with the youths.
Yeah.
The kids at my work.
Well, yeah, but
Today-
so
Not
Nabokov
today.
fan says it'll get to the point where kids these days literally don't know what money and coins even are. But you know what's funny about that is that's actually retrograding to the kids these days from like 300 or 400 years ago, 300
Right.
years ago, because those kids those days had no idea what the hell coins were and stuff until they were invented, right? Like cash money, When was the first banknote? First banknote was like sooner than you think.
Well, it's everything was like based off of like a bartering system or stuff like that. So you weren't physically like trading things.
No, you
Like-
would trade things like
Kind
weight
of.
of gold and stuff like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the first banknotes were issued in 1661. Now there's some BS here on Google that's like, oh, there was some in China in the fucking what, you know? And it's like, no, that's not what we're talking about here, you goofballs. But 1661. So you're like literally only have to go back like 400 years or whatever, and then you got those kids those days didn't even know what a dollar was. They didn't even know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
Which in the grand scheme of things is not that long ago.
That's not very long ago. No. Mm-mm. No, dude. Oh my God. I was thinking about that. The not that long ago thing, because of the Grand Canyon, right? Because I was trying to write a script about having gone to the Grand Canyon, and I realized, like, I'm a dope, and like no one really wants to hear like what I have to say about the Grand Canyon and how old it is or whatever. Like, I'm no geologist, obviously. I used to. My former spouse was, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So I was around it a bunch, and I find it interesting, but I'm not an expert. And I realized, like, nobody wants to hear my dopey-ass takes on the Grand Canyon, right? And because I was, like, sitting there trying to figure out how to, like, kind of poetically be like, well, the human mind doesn't even understand 30 years ago, let alone 30 million years ago, right? Like, you know, 30 years ago is such a long time ago. Well, 1,000 years ago is impossible for your brain to really like comprehend, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes me curious when the coin name was coined. Well, that's true. Coin name invention. When was that? 4th century. 3rd century.
Well,
True
there-
coin.
yeah, there were-
Okay, so true coinage began in 650 BC.
So there were definitely coins before like paper tender.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I mean, that's just it's the weight of the precious metal that you have is essentially what it was.
Right.
So it looks like true coinage began. Yeah, 6th or 5th century BCE before Jesus Christos. That guy.
Mm-hmm.
Was he Egyptian or something? Yeah, that guy. So what do you? Oh wait, so Alyssa got a gold nugget today?
Oh yeah, yeah. Somebody posted on the message board or whatever. They were like, "Hey, I need to rehome my gold nugget. I've had him for like 2 years, and I just need to tear down this tank for whatever reason." And not asking for any fees and blah blah blah. And I was like, I got a tank. I could put him in there. I'll come get it.
What board was this on?
Airstone, you know.
Oh, on Airstone.
The
I refuse.
yeah.
I refuse it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I refuse
I'm just
Airstone.
saying it was there. That's
I
where
refuse
was.
it. I
That's
can't.
okay. That's
can't-
just where it was. But anyway,
I can't
so
get
I
that
go
many
all the way
emails,
up there.
bro. That's what I'm
He
saying.
was up in Mukilteo,
Mukatico.
and yeah, so I went all the way up there, and he's like, takes a few like swipes with the net trying to catch it, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you're any good at catching fish." I was like, "Don't worry, man. I do this for a living." So I go in there, I catch the fish, and he's like, "Wow, that was way easier and more gentle than I would have been." And I was like, you know, all good.
Right. You should have come
Came
up to
all the
hang
way
out.
back home.
That's all I'm saying. You should have come
Well-
up to hang out.
Well, I'm not just gonna invite myself over.
It's
And
not.
I've got all these stupid things I have to come and do.
It's not inviting yourself over. You just legit are like, "Hey, I'm going up to Mukilteo. What are you up to?" And I'm like, "Oh, dude, stop by. I'll make you a nice cheese sandwich or whatever."
Oh man, I could have had a cheese sandwich.
Yeah, like a fresh one.
That would have been great.
Fresh. I'm telling you, the freshness would have been off the Richter
Out of
scale.
this world.
Off the Richter scale.
Stale cheese sandwich.
The earthquake would have been so tremendous. It would have been off the Richter scale. What's that, Derek?
Rather than a stale cheese sandwich.
Yeah, just an old stale one that's sitting outside. Plus, you can meet our new
Right.
dog. Our new dog.
You got a new dog,
Yeah, dude. The dog fiasco around here has been intense. So you guys know that we had to take Charlie back, and we cried about that a lot. We miss Charlie. We're not sure what's going on with him, but he is in a good place. He's doing well, but
That's
we're
good.
not sure if he's ever gonna be able to come back here. So that sucks. But my mom and her husband were off at, I don't know, they go to dinners or whatever the hell they do. And somebody had this corgi dog that they were like, "Well, we're moving. We have to go to Europe for work." I don't know what kind of work they do, but they have to go to Europe for work. That's what I was told. I'm very on the outside of what's going on here, information-wise. So my mom volunteered us to have the dog come over here and see if the dog would do well here at our house. This was Thursday, I believe. Maybe Wednesday. Might have been Wednesday. So this corgi dog was apparently a 3-time champion show dog in the
Jeez.
corgi breed. And then she was bred a couple of times and then went into retirement with the people that fostered or took her in, the people that had to move to Europe. So they had to move to Europe, and she's like 10 years old. And so now she's here. But that dog lives here now. That's kind of how that works out. The story's longer, but the dog's here now. The more interesting part is that this dog, being a show dog, was trained to be a show dog.
Mm-hmm.
So the dog like ignores all other dogs. It just is like sits still and stares at you. They said that it took them like 5 years to teach her to sit on command.
Oh,
Because show dogs are trained to not sit ever. They just stand up.
interesting.
Because sitting is bad for the show, I guess. I don't know. But then they're trained to ignore other dogs, so she just ignores Biddy. Like, just doesn't even pay attention to her at all. Which is sort of just Biddy's normal nature. So they're both just aloof idiots wandering around. Now, the funny thing is, like, this dog is trained to poop on command.
Okay.
It's fucking brilliant, dude. You can take her outside and you can get her to follow you out. And you can stand there and present yourself to her and be like, "Go potty." And she'll just like squat down and start trying to poop.
Oh.
It's like, oh, you pooping now? Oh, okay.
On command.
Yeah. It's wild. But she's a cute dog, and so far she's fit in and doesn't bite anybody. He doesn't really bark or anything. She's real nice, and so we're like, F it. We like old dogs. We take in the old timers. We give them some good times, and then they die when we're not ready because they're already old when we get them.
Right.
But
I don't think
seems
there
good.
is a way to be ready for that.
Aubrey says to prove it. I am realizing now that I very much need to record this and make a TikTok, a YouTube style TikTok, a TikTok on YouTube, a short. That's what they call them here, shorts.
Ah, yes.
But yeah, I can prove it, Aubrey. I can prove it. And this dog is very confused about like going out the dog door on her own. She literally like needs to be told to do stuff. It's very interesting. Biddy's just like, Biddy will wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I gotta pee, and just like rumble out of the room, down the hallway, out the dog door, go pee, come clamoring back in, and like, oh, I'm done. I went pee. Apparently this new dog will just stand and pee her pants basically if you don't take her out. So yeah, very interesting.
That's kind of adorable.
She's pretty
gonna
adorable.
post-
She's a very weird looking corgi. I will say that the show quality corgi I'm very not used to.
Right.
She has a much longer head and stuff. She doesn't look, I'm like, oh, you are like unique looking in the fact of like, oh, you've been bred to be specific vibe check. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
And there's like slightly different like sub-breeds of corgis too. So there's like the Pembroke Welsh Corgi or the Cardigan Welsh Corgi. So they have like different facial structures and stuff too. Yeah.
Oh God. Now I gotta look it up. I have no idea.
So my stepmom had 4 corgis at one time, and now she has 1 left, but they're all Pembroke Welsh corgis.
Let me see what we got here. Well, I think she's Pembroke. I think that's what she is. I don't know. I you know what I should do is just be like, hey, where's this dog's papers? Because the dog apparently has papers for some ungodly weird reason.
I think the Cardigans are more like are longer, but bigger ears and like I think a longer nose. Cardigans are slightly larger with a heavier bone.
Yeah, she looks like the queen dog. The queen had these dogs.
Huh.
She looks like the queen's dog. But the queen's dead now. I think the dog survived.
What's interesting about that is the other day I saw a news article that was talking about the Queen's Guard.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, isn't it the King's Guard now?
Better be. Unemployed man gets first job after 60 years. I'm trying to see
70 something years or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is he, 70 or something? I don't know. He's old.
He's probably older than that.
I mean, no offense to the British, political system or whatever, but it is kind of interesting having people whose whole jobs is literally just to be like
A figurehead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're just a dignitary.
Which
Actually, believe it or not, like I agree with that portion of the British political system, is that sure you should have a president, but they should just be like a ambassador essentially, right?
Yeah.
They should just be a figurehead. You shouldn't have the power in the one person. It's just insane. It's insane to have all this power into one person. I think they essentially should be ambassadors that like fly around. I mean, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, they could be the president, vice president, whatever, and just fly around and smile at people and like, hey, we're the United States. It's fine. We're good. And if other countries want to deal with us, they should probably be dealing with a group of democratically elected representatives, as opposed to like, oh, I was over here shaking hands with the president guy, with Bush. I was shaking his hand, and I think they're gonna, I think they're gonna send us some missiles, and you're like, what? How's that one guy involved in that decision? That doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Super weird.
Fergie, the Pembroke Welsh Corgi. I'm trying to see if this actual dog has internet pictures. But apparently there's other Welsh Corgis named Fergie, so it's a little bit of a cluster. Anyhow, I don't know. I'll just bring her in. I'll just take a picture of her and put it up. What's that?
Oh, isn't Fergie one of the Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah, she's one of the Black Eyed Peas. That's true. Man, we had mention of TLC and the Black Eyed Peas. It's a pretty good show as far as I know.
Yeah.
So wait, how big is this gold nugget that you got? Is it like full grown or what? What's the deal?
Oh no, he's like 3.5, 4 inches or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I put a photo in. It's just like a little, like you could maybe stick a hoagie in this Tupperware container that I've got him in.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
about it.
So decent, but not even ready to breed yet.
No, and again, I'm not sure that they'll ever actually breed for me, but
You better breed them.
it would
You
be really
better
nice
do
if
it.
I could.
What's that?
I've got all the different types. I got the 8-1s, I got the 1/8s, and the 1/7/7s.
Oh, just interbreed them. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, if I could get them to breed, that'd be great. I just
Do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I should try Plecos.
Plecos are neat.
I
Yeah.
have the tanks.
Plecos are neat if you can set up the tank so you can actually ever see them.
Yeah, because
They're
Overrated.
eternal, aren't they?
Is it overrated to see your plecos?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I remember 20 years ago, I got this awesome clown pleco.
Yeah.
I had him forever. I saw him twice, I think, in 5 years or something.
I've told people before. They'll be like, "Man,
I thought he
I
was
just
dead."
need, they'll be like, "Man, I just need like a janitor fish," and I'll be like, "Janitor fish? You mean like a pleco, like something to eat your algae and whatever?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, a janitor fish," and I'll be like, "All right, cool. So, do you care if you see it?"
You don't ever see a clown pleco, man. You don't ever see it. No,
Right,
the
I'm
funny
like,
thing
"This-
is,
this
I
one
had him
right
so
here."
I had him so long that he actually went into the wood eating phase.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't recall if I'm recalling this correctly, but like when they're young, they don't really eat the wood. They mostly eat just like soft algae and stuff like that. But once they get bigger and older, they start chomping on wood. So he'd leave all these weird wood piles around the tank, and I thought for a long time I thought he was dead because I was like, I don't know, man. That fish, I haven't seen that fish in forever. I just assume he's in here, but maybe he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually, I think I broke that tank down and then found him stuck to a piece of wood. I was like, man, you're huge. Look at you. And then I put him in another tank and didn't see him forever. And I thought oh man, he must have just died when I put him in that tank because I haven't seen him. But then eventually there started being those little wood piles started showing up where he was chomping down on some soft woods and getting big down there. And I think I think I sold that tank, and then and I think the pleco went with that tank. I think that's what happened. But I'm not 100%. I wasn't that sad to see him go because I never saw him anyhow. You know what I mean?
Right.
It'd
You
be
can't
like
see something grow that you can't see.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like having a girlfriend that lives in Canada. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, she's real, right?
Right.
Well, hey guys,
Right.
she's Canadian. That's why she's not here. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, I have a clown pleco. I really do. He's in there.
Here's his
I swear.
profile.
Yeah.
No,
It's
but
like I
I've
saw
had
him when I
people
put him
come
in there.
back and say, like, they think that it's dead or whatever, and I'll say, "Do you have algae in the tank?" And they'll say, "Well, no." And I'm like, "No, he's not dead. He's doing his job." I promise he's there. You just don't see him.
Are you guys talking about OK Go?
What?
What? I was just, sorry. I just started reading the chat, and I was like, "What is going on in the chat? You guys are weird." Then I realized they're talking about what we were talking about, so it's not that well. It's equally as weird. But they mentioned OK Go make awesome music videos. They really do. And to answer Mickham's question, was it Mickham's question? Are music videos still a thing? Yes, music videos are still a thing. They're just on YouTube now. There's no
Yeah,
more.
that's true.
There's no more
I'm
MTV.
old enough to remember when MTV was a rotating bunch of music videos.
You're not old enough to
Yeah.
remember?
I am old enough.
Oh, okay, good. God, I was gonna say because I forget when MTV came out, but I was a little guy when MTV came out. MTV came out in what year? I can't remember exactly, but we could track it because we know how old I am.
Right.
Yeah, MTV came out in 1981, and I know that we didn't have it in my house because I was 1 1/2, and we didn't have it then. But we moved to a different house in '83, and when we moved into that house, we got basic cable. I don't know if you guys remember basic cable back in the day, but one of the few channels that was on basic cable that wasn't a nightmare of boring nonsense was MTV. And yeah, because we had, I'm trying to remember the channels we had. We had 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and I don't even remember what channel number MTV was. Maybe it was 1 or 0 or 15 or something weird like that. But yeah, when I was a kid, MTV was the jam, dude. It was just straight up music and music videos. That's all it was. And it was good. They did a good job. It was good. And then they just deviated. They deviated hard.
Yeah, we didn't have cable when I was a kid.
Oh, speaking of MTV, you remember that show, The Real World?
Yep.
I remember hearing about that show, yeah.
Vicky's cousin is on one of those.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Season? What season you think?
Season 12.
Nope.
28.
Nope.
2.
You got it.
Did I really?
Yeah.
That's good. Because I didn't know how many more guesses I was going to want to make.
Of the Real World,
What's that?
33 seasons.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Holy cow.
It's almost as many seasons as The Simpsons.
It's a lot, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, weird. I'm having flashbacks to the real world people. These people are weird.
Or memory unlocked.
It's a memory was just not there, and now it's returned.
Yep.
Vicky's cousin looks funny as hell. What a nerd. Nice bangs, nerd.
The gold nugget has now slipped into this tank full of a whole bunch of woods and plants, never to be seen again. All right.
Oh yeah,
Perfect happy fish.
nice. Oh man, we lost all of our viewers. They all left. Oh man. Oh,
they
that's
didn't
because
wanna
we're
hear
like
me
2
talk
hours
about my
in.
gold nugget.
Oh my god, it's because we're like 2 hours in. All right, it's 3:12 p.m. my time. We had no super chats, no new members. We had nothing today. Nobody, no new members, no new nothing. So, no shout outs. No shout outs to any of you non super chatters, non members. But shout out to Derek. Wait, hold on. Let's give a shout out to who's our newest member. Let's go look.
Say it's not me this time.
It's not you. We gotta find the button.
Historically, the hardest part of the show is finding the button.
It is the hardest thing to do. Oh, we lost a member today. Hold on,
my
we gotta
God.
go down.
They really didn't want to hear about my new gold nugget.
We're down to 70. We lost a member during the show, I think. But
man.
Scott Winkler is our newest member. We're gonna lose more members because the gifted memberships are gonna go away.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. So standard members, we're at 69. Now you got to say nice.
I was
Nice.
gonna beat me to it.
Nice.
It's the funny number. We all like the funny numbers.
That's the funny number. But shout out to Scott Winkler. That's our newest member.
Nice.
So shout out to that. All right. Anyhow, that's it for Monday, June 12th, 2023. With our super secret callers, Derek, and our super secret caller, Alyssa, from the 808 area codes.
808 state.
Hawaii. That's Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
808 area code is Hawaii, right?
Yep.
Hawaii. What's Vegas area code?
702.
Is it?
Yep.
Do you have these memorized?
No. You're just asking me ones I know.
All right. So
Some,
it's
like,
true.
Weird bar trivia or like weird trivia thing where you're like, you know area codes in the United States.
That's crazy. You'd be like Pensacola, Florida.
That one I don't know.
All right.
He like could replay every single or recite every single Super Bowl winner and who played in it and what the score was
Oh
in
my
like
God.
middle school.
Wow.
That's not good. That's not good. I went to school with somebody who did she did a Guinness Book of World Records thing. She did pi by memory to 1,000.
Nope.
She did pi from memory to 1,000 on a big whiteboards. She just kept going on the whiteboards until and the people stared at her. And here's the thing. I don't even know if are you checking it? Like, and if you are checking it, you're checking it with a thing that you don't even know if it's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you verify that the pie that you have is the actual real pie? Because no one knows, right?
Could be an imposter pie.
It could be. What is
Could
it?
be rhubarb.
It's 3.14159, right?
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
Then after that, I have no freaking idea what's going on.
Then you
what's
just do the little dots.
The ...
Yeah. Etc.
What's the first 100 digits of pi? Oh, it's a YouTube video. Get out of here. I don't want that. I just want to look at it real quick.
Right.
Okay, now I'm hecka smart. Look at me. I got all the pi digits memorized. Okay, test me on it.
What's the first 100 digits of pi?
Yeah, you got it. Boom.
Right.
Right here. Copy, paste. Got him. Yeah, this whole thing is just a disaster. This whole pie here. It's not good. Don't look at this website. My God, this website was built in like 96 or something. Look at this. Hold on, I gotta show you guys this. Where's my
Oh man.
button?
HTML1.
Guys, I gotta find the button. It is, I think.
Nice.
Look at this website. This
If
is
it looks
straight
like
up.
I could have made it, then you know that it's not very good.
It looks like you could have programmed this. Not made it.
Mhm.
It looks like you could have programmed this. Look at this.
It's probably a bunch of tables.
Yeah, I can do tables.
If it's made in HTML and it looks like it's in 96, it's probably a bunch of tables.
I would guess.
Mhm.
Derek, are you like a internet or you're a computer guy?
Yeah, professional title is data engineer, so I write code for a living and then do fish stuff and photography stuff on the side.
Oh my god, you write code and everything?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Derek's cool, okay? Fine.
I'm a
Fine.
nerd.
Ugh. He's out there showing off his man strength. He's showing off his brain power.
Actually, I used the ego stuff to cut down the pergola.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, loved it. It's great.
You're like, look how green I am too, ladies. Ladies. Look at me glistening in the sun. I'm flexing. And I'm
That was
using
the part.
I'm not even polluting the environment, ladies. Hello. Or dudes. I don't know. I don't know what you're into. And it's not a requirement to
Just
tell me.
everyone.
What's this emote? Oh my god,
have
we
a
have new emotes, guys. We have an emote of, I don't even know what that is. We have milk. Is this milk? Maybe it's boba tea. Could be boba tea. What is this emote? What is that supposed to be?
It's
Social
two people
distancing.
giving a high five to each other. Social distancing.
It's called social distancing. Oh my god. What are all these emojis for? Why? We're turning back into
Found
the
a cool
Egyptians.
heart.
We're turning back into the Egyptians, guys. You'd be like, I don't want to tell anybody that I was painting my nails. I shall emoji them my nail painting. Here. I painted my nail twice. I don't want to type. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. Mm-mm.
2 layers.
You posted the Pride Heart. We went to the Pride Parade in Spokane, Washington.
Nice.
It was pretty good. A lot of my people were there. Actually, I saw like 3 or 4 people that I knew who they were.
Oh wow.
And I avoided eye contact because I just didn't want to have a conversation because I was just overwhelmed by so many freaking people right up in my space.
Oof.
I was like, I'm having enough. I'm having enough social interaction right now. The milling people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people have no direction. It's one thing to be at like a music show, like a festival or something, and like, here comes Pantera, you know, and then Pantera comes on, and then like everyone like kind of stuffs their meat vehicles that way, you know, and they're all facing like, oh, we gotta watch. Phil Anselmo's gonna yell. We better watch,
Right.
you know, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and.
It's different when you're the center of entertainment, though.
True. I don't think I was
And
the
you
center
didn't-
of
and
entertainment.
you weren't expecting to be. Like if
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
go somewhere and suddenly you meet up with people and all of a sudden you have to turn on like now I'm entertaining people mode.
That's
It's
true.
different.
I have to turn on the charm and be like, hey, guys,
Yeah.
I'm charming or something.
I am not a jerk.
Oh, they have different colors of raising hands. You could raise yellow hands or like white hands or black hands or medium hands. Why is all of this emojiness? Okay, I don't know. We're going straight back to ancient Egypt. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I love
We're
you.
walking like the Egyptians.
I love you guys. Have a great whatever this week is. I don't know, June something. And
Day.
What did you?
holla at your boy on Discord. You guys can. Unless you're you guys that aren't members, you can't do it. Or patrons.
sure I'll
You have to be a
more-
patron or a member. That's how it works.
Questions.
What's that?
I'm sure I'll have more questions about drip emitters and all sorts of fun things.
Oh, good. I'm into it. All right. Pushing
Right,
buttons.
talk to you. See
All
ya.
right, you go back. Music time. Bam, 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 bam.